Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Chat Stats and Fun Facts, a 2025 season preview brought to you by the Dry Pink Dialogue. Saur, thanks for being with me. Today, we are talking about Ian Fray, who is not the golden boy. I know Kramaski gets that
moniker
because, thank you, the moniker because of the hair. But I think the boy wonder might fit more appropriately for Ian Fray because he is absolutely an X factor when he's on the field. It's just a matter of how often he is on the field. Saur, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when I say Ian Fray?
Boy wonder, star boy, X factor, Iron Man, so many different things.
I don't think Iron Man.
Iron Man because he keeps coming back, man. Or maybe Rocky Balboa because he just
gets beat up, then he comes back.
Yeah.
That's
one of my favorite players in the team. I love watching him play every single time he's on that pitch. I'm really happy that he's back for us, and it feels like he's going to be ready for the season because we all love watching him play. And honestly, I don't even want to talk about what he's going to do for Inter Miami, where he's going to go. I just want to watch him play. He's just a joy to watch, and what a phenomenal player. Hopefully, luck and health is with him this season.
Here's my fun fact for Ian Fray. And it is a little bit of an opinion, but I think there's no young player at Inter Miami with a higher ceiling than Ian Fray.
100%.
And that includes Yannick Bright, Ben-Ami Kramaski. I said that even when Diego Gomez was on the team. I think those two are in the same stratosphere in terms of their potential. But now that Gomez is at Brighton, I think he is certainly number one. I'm interested to see what Segovia has. I'm interested to see what some of the young guys that we're bringing in now have. But for now, Ian Fray, no doubt in my mind, the highest upside young player at Inter Miami. 2024, he comes back from the ACL. His first game, he gets a start against Columbus at right back. He scores a goal 10 minutes in, and he helps Inter Miami get a huge win without their stars against the Columbus Crew, who were the menace of the East for Inter Miami last season. He finishes with 17 games, 7 starts, 706 minutes, and a pair of goals. Let's talk about the health conversation. He tore his ACL 3 years in a row, and then he tore his meniscus, which is not nearly as serious of an injury. He's come back. He injured it, I believe, in September. He's already back. Played a few minutes in the last preseason game, the second preseason game, sorry. And so he looks like he's going to be ready to go by the start of the season, working hard. Obviously, he's used to rehabilitation. I think that let's just get the health conversation out of the way. Do you have to how do you treat him?
Carefully. Very carefully. This is a player that definitely has health issues, and not for any of his own fault.
Okay, but what does carefully mean?
It means
practicality.
This season you have to really manage his minutes, and you can't expect him to play 4 games right off the bat. That's obviously not on the cards anyways. You have to build him up. He may not be able to play 2 consecutive games, but there's only as much care that you can take, right? At the end of the day, he still is a professional footballer who has to play minutes and has to contribute to this team. So I'm sure there's a health plan. In his interviews, he's mentioned that he is doing everything possible to make sure he takes care of himself, both from a physiological point of view, doing exercises that will strengthen his vulnerable portions of his body, and also managing his minutes. I think is just a matter of making sure that sports science is at a place with him where it's a tailored routine for him, whether it's in training, whether it's his minutes, whether it's in matches. And you just have to hope that nothing repeats itself in that sense.
Yeah, the whole thing about avoiding injuries is to have flexibility and strength through length and good balance from side to side, front to back, top to bottom. And that is incredibly difficult to build if you have gone through major injuries, because when you have that major injury, you have atrophy, muscle atrophy, and flexibility loss when you can't work those parts of your body that are injured. So it is very difficult to re-achieve really great balance. But like you said, hopefully with sports science, hopefully you have a good physiological department. I'm blanking on the word, but hopefully they can get him to a place where he can stay injury free. Like you said, and this was my big thing last year, is he has to become a professional soccer player. He's 22. This might be his age 23 season. And so for him, he has to like become a real professional now. And he still hasn't done that, even though the talent's there, the upside's there. His minute-to-minute play is super impressive. But if he can't stay healthy, then he's not going to be a professional in 5 years if he can't stay healthy. So this has to be the year he gets healthy. And I will add to that a little bit of pressure. I believe this is the last year of his contract with Inter Miami. There are no more option years. So if he gets another long-term injury again, despite the talent, despite how much I and you love what he can be, if you're only getting 700 minutes from him a season, it's really tough, especially because you have to go through all the emotions of the injury. So he's got to stay healthy. And if you're a coaching staff, if you're the health department, I've lost it. The training staff, you got to do whatever you can to keep him healthy. But on the flip side, you have to become a professional, and that means playing once a week for 90 minutes. So it is a tough balance. I'm certainly glad I'm not responsible for making that decision, because you are hugely impacting someone's life and career and future by, potentially getting it wrong. And so that is the biggest thing, because I think the talent is real, and we can have fun talking about the talent, but as long as he stays healthy, that's all it is fun. If he doesn't stay healthy, then it's just heartbreaking.
Absolutely. And at some point, he has to trust his body. He has to be able to mentally be ready to take on the load of playing 90 minutes a week. And he's shown so far that he's mentally very strong, keeps coming back. And he had a really good comeback last season, almost poetic. I'm hoping that this season it goes under the radar. Just good performances through and through, plays through the season. That's all I ask for him. And hopefully, fingers crossed, this can be his season.
Okay, let's talk about his impact on the field, because I really wanted to keep that to like 1 minute, and here we are 5 minutes later. He can impact the team as a defensive midfielder or as a central midfielder. I think his highest upside is as a center back, but I think what we saw last year is that his most immediate position to help this team is actually at right back. So he can fill in as center back, he can fill in the midfield, but at right back, he can start now and add value to your team starting in the next game.
He's just so good, man. Every position that you put him in the back, it's just, I don't even know what to say in terms of how much he can actually bring to the team. I saw him play when he was back for that first game against Columbus, and I was like, okay, there's no chance that he's going to be, the same Ian Fray we saw a season ago. And yet, as soon as he's on the ball, there's just this silkiness, there's just this technique, there's just this X factor that oozes through. And there's an ease with which he plays, and you enjoy seeing him get on the ball and do things. You could automatically tell the difference between our regular right back and what he brought to the team. And that just goes to show his quality is above and beyond what a normal average footballer would bring to the table. So the talent is all there, and we can talk about that every single day. I think a good conversation is, where does he play for this team, right? Because there's multiple positions he can play. You mentioned defensive midfielder, right back, where he deputized for Chelo Wigan last season, center back as well, which is considered his natural position. Keeping in mind both his talent level as well as his health issues, where do we think he fits best in this Inter Miami team? I have a few thoughts, but let's hear it from you first.
Well, I actually want to start by saying I think central midfield is his natural position. Mm-hmm. And I think if you take that skill set and you put it at right back, it's really, really nice. And you put it at center back, it's even nicer. He has the ball playing ability, the technical ability, the vision, the fearlessness, the confidence to get forward and be dangerous in the final third. He can dribble past people. He can switch people up. He can really be a danger in the final third. He can put nice crosses in, and he's not afraid to take a shot on goal if he's in the right spot. So offensively, he's the best defender on this team other than Jordi Alba. And I think that's not even particularly close. He is willing to dribble into the opposition half and be effective. So, and Kent has the talent to be effective. As a center back, you don't get that very much, but when you see it, it's really fun. And if he has the space to do it, it's really exciting. But as a right back, that's part of his main responsibility. And so I think that's why I think he profiles best as a right back. And we have so many midfielders right now that I don't know that they're going to ask him to do a lot in the midfield. Of course, he can fill in for a few minutes here or there. But so I think he's going to be mostly a backline defender as a center back or a right back. And then if you have him as a right back, he has the center back body, size, skills, understanding of the defense to still be a crucial part for your team defensively. And then you just add the X factor he has going forward. So for me, I think it's a big year. And I think if he stays healthy, he's going to have to be the starter at right back because he's too talented to keep off the field. And that's where he fits best on this team. They kept Cello Wiegand this year. And I think that was a surprise once we learned that Tata Martino wasn't going to stay. But that feels like a spot that Ian Fray can come in and say, watch me play and then watch me take your job. No offense to Cello Wiegand, but that's what Ian Fray could be. And again, now that we know he's healthy, now that we know he's going to be ready to start the season, it doesn't feel that far off.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. I think his best position on this team at this point in time is right back. There's just this ability that he has. Obviously, he's amazing at dribbling the ball. He's great at the ball at his feet. But he finds these angles, which is really crucial to be a right back, that he just drives the ball into space and can lose his man very easily. And he's comfortable being pressed as well, knows exactly what position he needs to be in terms of his body and where he needs to maneuver the ball to find the space and
he's got
progress the ball
midfielder
forward.
like skills.
Exactly. I don't think he's ever going to play midfield for Inter Miami unless it's like essential and we need to fill in bodies there. Yeah, not on this team for sure. My only concern with him playing right back is the amount of load that it takes playing right back is more compared to playing center back. So,
yeah, but then we get back to this conversation about him being a professional, right? Because like, again, like if he can only play center back, I mean, that's fine. But if you're a professional athlete, you got to help the team however you can. And I don't know if he starts over a Toto Aviles or a Maxi Falcone or a David Martinez, but I think like if you put him at right back, he starts a lot of games, and then he can fill in at center back too. But I think you got to let him go as long as it's in a responsible way. And I think right back is where he has the opportunity to really shine.
And when you say got to let him go, you mean unleash him, not let him go off the team, just to clarify.
Yes. You got to unleash him. You got to let him be a professional soccer player. Yeah. And I know that's super hard because every time you get a setback, it's devastating. But like he's so good and he could be, like I've always said this, he has U.S. men's national team potential. And if he's ever going to be that or get there, he's going to have to prove it by playing so well at Inter Miami that he moves to Europe, and like he can do all of that if he can stay healthy. So he's just an exciting player. I want to see him play. I think every time you see him in the starting lineup, it's great. I think every time we do a pregame show and he's not in the starting lineup, we complain about him not being in the starting lineup, especially when it's clear it's not a health thing. Tata Martino clearly preferred Cello Wiegand over Ian Fray, and I don't think that had to do with what was in front of us on the field. I think that had more to do with the promises made and the expectations of both players. But this year, Javier Mascherano probably doesn't have that same relationship with Cello Wiegand. I expect Ian Fray to be able to earn more minutes, and then I think he has a chance to be our starting right back in big games. And then the only other added question there is, what does Gonzalo Lujan factor in? But for me, like I think Ian Fray has the highest ceiling, and I think he has a chance to play in the biggest games.
And even if we don't talk about the individual talent itself, I think when you think about the team balance, right now this team is a little bit skewed towards the left because the amount of output that we get from the left side from Jordi Alba is a lot higher compared to on the right side from Cello Wiegand. When you put Ian Fray in there, the attacking threat on both sides is so large that you will inevitably create opportunities and score goals, because if Jordi Alba is being covered on one side, you automatically create space for Ian Fray to go forward and make those cutback passes. So there's threat from both sides when those two play together on the opposite ends. And that for the team balance is exactly what we need. And that's why we score goals when he's on the pitch.
Yeah, I will say, based on what we've done so far in the preseason, I don't know if that's going to be quite as clear this year because last year Tata Martino had Messi as that right winger. And so when Messi would come centrally like he does, there would be so much space on that right side that Cello could not effectively take advantage of. And Ian Fray could. But if we're going to put a right winger out there and have Messi play centrally, then it might not be quite as obvious. The last thing I'll say, I mentioned it earlier, this is the last year of his contract, I believe. And so that conversation, I think, is going to loom over what he does this year. He's not an automatic re-sign right now, not because of the talent, but because of the health. And so I think he needs to prove himself that he can not just stay healthy, but impact the team in a positive way. And so that is going to be a looming conversation this season. Okay, over under for 2025. Number one starts at right back / right wing back. If we go
over
there.
Man, give me over, because I want to be positive and optimistic about Ian Fray this season. Give me over. I think he is going to establish himself as our starting right back.
I agree. I think he's going to be the number one right back. I think he's going to start the Club World Cup games for Inter Miami at right back. That's my expectation. That's my I think that's realistic too.
Yeah.
Any other predictions or hot takes for Ian Fray in 2025?
Now, I just want to be positive. I want to wish him all the best for this season. I think wish him all the success and health, and we'll see where we go from there. But this boy is the best. We absolutely love watching him play, and every single minute that he plays for Inter Miami is going to be beautiful. Bring it on.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see him back on the pitch. And again, he can be an X factor. If you didn't watch him last year, this is your first time watching Inter Miami. This kid has something special about him, and it's just a matter of, can he stay healthy, and can the coach trust him enough to play consistently? All right, guys, thanks for watching. We will see you guys in the next one. Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Do us a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Since our first viewer, sharing this with you all has been the very best part. So from the beginning until the end, thank you for being a part of this, and have a wonderful day.